Well, you might know him as Mick Carter in EastEnders, or Tommy Johnson in The Football Factory, or Jack in his latest film Marching Powder. He's known in these parts as Jared Bowen's soon-to-be father-in-law, Danny Dyer, a guest in the studio on TalkSport last week. He's obviously a Jared Bowen fan. His daughter's about to marry him. Him and his daughter have given Danny grandchildren, and he's a Graham Potter fan as well, clearly. You just heard that there as well. So Mick Carter, Tommy Johnson, Jack, Danny Dyer, well done to you. And what a moment here at the London Stadium, because Mikel Antonio is making his first appearance since his accident, and the ovation around the stadium is something else for Mikel Antonio. And there was a time when the story broke when we were all majorly concerned. So to see him walking around, to see him applauding the fans, that is magnificent. He's getting a lot of love from the fans inside the stadium, and the away end as well joining in is something else. He's getting emotional, puffing out his cheeks, the eyes are glazing over, and Mikel Antonio, I'm sure he's very appreciative of what's going on. And Danny Murphy, sometimes little things just make you realise, whoa, just stop a moment, take it all in, soak it all up. It's just so good to see Mikel Antonio looking fit, well, healthy, and getting the love from the London Stadium.
Special moment, Aidan. Looking at his face, you can't help but feel it. Nobody knows what he's been through, the journey he's been on recently, or how close he comes to losing his life, but the appreciation he feels there and the warmth he's getting from these West Ham fans will certainly help him. I mean, wow, incredible moment.
Well, there's a big tifo on the left-hand side. Our number 9, Mikel Antonio, and a picture of Mikel Antonio with a crown on in the middle has just been passed over the heads of those in the lower tier away to our left. What a moment that was. That's pure emotion right there. They've got a DJ here, they've had fireworks, they've got the pyro, but that was the moment that we were waiting for. Mikel Antonio, so good to see him. Teams are on their way out, the bubbles are flying. Nearly 40 years after Alvin Martin did it. Do you reckon we could get another 8-1 with a centre-half scoring a hat-trick in this fixture? West Ham Newcastle live on game night on TalkSport with former England midfielder Danny Murphy alongside Sam Matterface.
Well, they say a week is a long time in football. Well, this week has felt longer than most for Eddie Howe. Newcastle have been rocked to their core by 3 huge absences just days before they stride out at Wembley in an attempt to end their long-suffering fans' wait for silverware. Anthony Gordon is suspended, Sven Botman has another knee issue, and Lewis Hall is out for the rest of the season. But Eddie Howe has said he is going to be refused to be knocked off course. He said he will come out fighting, and so will his team tonight. The mood at West Ham had been on the canvas until Graham Potter breathed new life into them. Their season may be over in terms of what they can achieve, but the job of lifting the mood remains. And back-to-back wins for the first time in a year has given the former Brighton boss a puncher's chance of endearing himself to a fan base that has been, for quite some while now, been disenfranchised. Here are the two teams. West Ham unchanged from the last time we were here against Leicester 10 days ago. Areola is the goalkeeper, Todibo, Kilman and Cresswell the back 3. Wan-Bissaka, Souček, Alvarez and Scarles across the middle, with Ward-Prowse behind Bowen and Kudus in attack. Newcastle resists the temptation to make any sort of wholesale alterations to the team, even with the prospect of ending their 70-year domestic trophy drought just 6 days away. Nick Pope is the goalkeeper. The back 4, Trippier, Cher, Byrne and Livramento, Guimaraes, Tonali and Joel Linton in midfield, Murphy, Isaac and Barnes going forward. Lucas Paquetá is back on the bench for West Ham United. And for Newcastle United, Callum Wilson waiting in the wings, knowing that his next goal for the club will be his 50th. Danny Murphy is here alongside me. How's the game going to pan out tonight? Because we did the first game between these two earlier in the season on a Monday Night Football, where West Ham walked away with 3 points.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fascinating one. We'll see how the West Ham system stands up to this Newcastle one, with the 3 at the back against Newcastle's front 3. See if Newcastle press. I think most of Newcastle's best performances are when they're on the front foot and they're pressing high up the pitch, which would really create an open game with Bowen and Kudos stretching the Newcastle back four. But I think huge importance for Newcastle to put in a good performance and carry some momentum into Sunday, the final against Liverpool, of course.
Well, West Ham in claret and blue jerseys with white shorts and white socks. It's white shirts for Newcastle tonight with green trim, green shorts and socks, and they will attack the goal away to our left in the first half. The Bobby Moore stand away to our left, and the West Ham attack will centre on the Trevor Brookings stand, where the Newcastle travelling support is, in the corner of the field away to our right hand side, going right up to the back of the second tier of this huge bowl, the Olympic Bowl, in the middle of the Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park in East London. There's live football every day of the week. This week on TalkSport, we've got every race from Cheltenham Festival as well, as the horse racing gets into full swing. But right now, West Ham United looking for 3 in a row against a Newcastle team who can't take any more injury blows. And immediately they're on the front foot with Isaac taking the game to West Ham United. Tadibo stands up strong to him as he races away down the left channel, loses possession, and then Wan-Bissaka picks it up and takes it forward. The first game between these two this season, West Ham sort of sat back, counter-attack, played Newcastle at their own game really. It was in a period where Newcastle were playing okay but couldn't finish teams off, and that's been the same recently. Here come Bowen into the penalty area. It falls to Souček after the cross from Kudus. He got in behind the defence, Souček, and he brought it down on the edge of the box, but it wouldn't sit up nicely for him, and he's fired it over the top.
Bad miss from Souček. See, this is the problem. If Newcastle's fullbacks are going to go and press the wing-backs, it's a 2v2. And Kudus and Bowen, brilliant from on the left-hand side from Kudus, puts a cross in. Bowen just misses it, but there's Souček getting in on the back post, takes a little touch, falling back as he hits it on his second touch over the bar. Poor miss, really bad miss. Usually very good in those positions.
Tino Livramento goes in and in advance of Souček. He's playing at left back tonight, Tino Livramento. He spent most of the season playing at right back. He went to attempt to clear that with his left foot. He didn't look comfortable.
No, there are situations when you play the wrong-footed player in a full-back position that those situations can be more difficult. But ultimately, you can't be leaving your two centre-halves 2v2 with the quality Kudus and Bowen have. I think that would be a huge error.
Here is Guimaraes playing it out towards this near side. Livramento picks it up. It's been a fast start to the game at both ends. We've nearly played 2 minutes. It's West Ham United 0, Newcastle United 0, live on TalkSport on this Monday night. Ball out towards the left where it's collected by Barnes. Barnes in the team tonight for the suspended Anthony Gordon. He has a really good record actually, does Barnes, in matches against West Ham United. Although most of the goals that he's scored, 3 in 6 appearances, have come when he's been a substitute. Joel Linton travels down the right, nudges it into the path of Tonali. The return ball into Bruno Guimaraes is not precise enough, and it drifts out of play and away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side.
It's always fascinating early on when you see 2 different systems, how it's going to affect the other team, or a positive and a negative. For Newcastle's advantage, if you've got a full-back and a wide man, which they have, it's a problem for the wing-back of West Ham. Does the midfielder come out and help him? Does the centre-half come out and help him? These are the little things that will evolve as the game goes on.
Picked up by Trippier, who's stolen a march on the defender, and then across comes Kilman with a really well-timed challenge and manages to come across and rescue a rather incendiary situation for West Ham United, because Trippier won that really well, eagerly up the pitch, and got an advance of Cresswell, and Kilman had to come across to stop him from getting into an advanced position. Good defending by Kilman, who's been in every single game in the Premier League for West Ham United since signing from Wolverhampton Wanderers in the summer. Livramento on the near side. Newcastle United deep inside their own half, back to Byrne. Byrne guides it back to his goalkeeper. Pope kicks it high into the evening sky. It's a cool evening now in East London. Barnes heads the ball across Wan-Bissaka's body. He manages to stick out one of those huge long limbs, Wan-Bissaka, and poke it away to relative safety, but they win it back again. Joel Linton in midfield felt he was fouled. The referee tonight, by the way, Michael Salisbury, allows play on. And Wan-Bissaka then engages with Joel Linton on this near side, who is penalised, and a free kick given a yard in from the right touchline, just 6 yards inside opposition territory for West Ham. He's big for Newcastle, isn't he, Joel Linton?
Huge. Keeps the ball so well. He's a goal threat. He's got great athleticism, tenacity. So much about him is exactly what you want to see in a midfielder. He's always a blow when he's not playing for them. Always a miss, I should say.
And Newcastle can't let thoughts of Wembley creep in today. It's too early if they do. And here is Bowen skipping away from Joel Linton in towards the near post, and it's just ricocheted off the body, I think, of Alvarez. It's gone behind and away for a goal kick, but he came breaking late into the box, got there in advance of the defender, and as the cross came in, it sort of eluded the first defender, I think it was Dan Burn, and it just whacked him on the chest and went behind.
Great ball in from Bowen on his weaker foot. Skipped by Joel Linton, who we've just been praising too easily. Dan Burn didn't want to get dragged out with Bowen, rightly so. Let Joel Linton take over the responsibility. Good start from West Ham.
Good start from West Ham United, who have won their last 2 Premier League games. But here's Barnes up to Murphy. Murphy to Trippier. Trippier advances down the right for Newcastle. Then in towards Barnes again, who switched from left to right. Cut out by a combination of Ward-Prowse and Alvarez. And then the long ball forward is aimed towards Bowen. And he's done well enough to win it despite the attentions of Livramento, who puts it eventually out for a throw midway inside Newcastle territory on this near side, the right. It's a big absence not having Anthony Gordon in the team this evening, but it's an opportunity for Harvey Barnes, isn't it, to stake a claim to start in the Carabao Cup final on Sunday.
Yeah, he's got really good attributes. Super athlete, can score brilliant goals. Fit as a fiddle. It's just the consistency levels for him.
Newcastle's consistency levels have been a bit of an issue recently. They've hit the buffers in terms of form. 4 defeats in their last 6 Premier League matches since mid-January. They've gone out of the FA Cup during that period as well. They had won 6 Premier League games in a row before that. Alvarez has sent the ball wide to the left. Crefwell with a cross in towards the near post, headed away, comes back into the penalty area via Souček, and only half cleared by the Newcastle defence, who are a little bit slow in getting out there. Back in by Cresswell to the near post, hooked away by Fabian Schär, who's right on the edge of his own 6-yard box. Comes back to James Ward-Prowse, who's quite happy to sit a little bit deeper tonight and dictate the play. It's played forward towards the right. Wan-Bissaka on to Bowen. Bowen now facing up Joel Linton and Livramento, who both go across to meet him. Infield he goes to Ward-Prowse once again. Down the right looking for the run of Wan-Bissaka. And then Ward-Prowse sends it in towards Jared Bowen. It's been pinched by Joel Linton, and Isak can't escape because across comes Kilman to win the ball high up, and it goes out for a throw-in on this near side. You're listening to TalkSport. It's West Ham 0, Newcastle 0 on TalkSport with Sky Sports, and don't forget you can stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now, like West Ham versus Newcastle live right now. Search Now Sports. Here's Danny Murphy.
Good intensity to the start of the game, Sam. Both teams mean business.
And certainly they should do, really.
Yeah, they should.
Newcastle being in that zone where they need to maintain a little bit of form, or get a little bit of form going in their legs again after what's been a difficult period, and that off the back of an outstanding period, to be fair, over
they had
Christmas
a great run,
and it was unbelievable, and then just run out of steam a little bit. And West Ham, I mean, if we were completely honest about it, they're not going to trouble anyone in the European places. They ain't going to get relegated. There's not really too much for them to worry about from merit payments for moving higher up the league, and to build a little bit of rapport and ahead of steam ahead of the new season. Here down the right hand side, the ball's been played into the box towards Jacob Murphy. Murphy's cross is just a little bit too ambitious from an acute angle, and it flies behind and away for a goal kick.
Yeah, it's the first, might have been offside actually, Murphy, but at least he's trying to make a run in behind, penetrate. First little glimpse they've had of getting in behind, really. I think it's right what you're saying though about Graham Potter getting on side with the supporters as early as possible. You know, this atmosphere feels really good tonight after some really good results for them. Their home form is the bit that's let them down since he's come in, really. Away from home, they've been pretty good. think we did the Chelsea away game where I thought they were unlucky.
Yeah.
And even the game at Villa they played where they got a draw and could have won it late on.
Ball in midfield. Runs loose. Kudus can't get it under control. It's nabbed by Scher and sent forward towards Barnes. Barnes, who gets it over the head of two players and then squeezes it out into the right wing position. Newcastle on the attack, moving into an advanced area was Alexander Isak. A low ball into the near post was aimed towards Bruno Guimaraes. Not a great clearance that by the West Ham defence, and it goes out over on the far side. Scher will let it run. It goes out for a throw-in, and they have it deep inside their own territory. Trippier wants it back again.
I like that from Barnes. He went drifting there inside, couple of little bits of skill, got him into a really dangerous area, got Newcastle on the attack, nice and confident from him. I like that when wide men go wandering to get on the ball, impact the game.
Yeah, well, the statistics have been pretty damning over the last 6 matches. Half the amount of goals per game, the fewer shots on target, half the expected goals. Shot conversion down from 17.3% to 10.9%. I mean, that's having a wobble, but the defensive numbers have gone the wrong way too. More shot space, more goals conceded. It goes on and on and on like that. Every metric has gone in an opposite direction from that it was over that Christmas and New Year period, and Newcastle have got to find a way to reverse that tide. In fact, they've conceded 16 Premier League goals since January the 18th, which is one of the worst defensive records in the Premier League during that period. Here is Byrne, up over towards the far side, and Scher back into Byrne, deep inside his own half, out wide to the left, and it's now with Livramento, who just travels up towards halfway. Again, Wan-Bissaka is pinching that in front of Barnes. That jaw is going to be really important tonight, but I think Wan-Bissaka's been brilliant this season for West Ham, one of the bright spots in the first half of the season, and certainly he's maintained that.
Do you know what, you just took the words right out of my mouth. I think he's been absolutely outstanding. He looks super confident, physically looks great, can get up and down, he's non-stop, very rarely gets done on 1v1s. Even the creative part of his game's got better. You know, he finds himself in the final third a lot, giving a lot of positivity to the West Ham attacking ideas, let's say. I think he just looks really comfortable and really happy.
Well, they've changed the manager, tweaked the system, personnel as well, since Graham Potter has come in a little bit. And they're getting used to things, but he's been a constant. Here is Wan-Bissaka giving the ball inside his own half, but he played it against Livramento.
Well, he didn't want that, did he?
He didn't. It was a poor decision actually from Todibo to give it to him in that zone. And it goes out for a throw in on this near side. And Wan-Bissaka will take it. Sends it back to Todibo, who again just takes an extra touch. He's under pressure from Isak. The ball ricochets off the Swede and goes out for a throw in. He's another one who's had a brilliant season, Alexander Isak, for Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
21 goals in his last 24 appearances. Alvarez sends the ball from the right side of the midfield inside his own half, back to the edge of the penalty area, nudged towards the left by Cresswell, collected by Scarles into Ward-Prowse, then back to Scarles by the touchline. He comes infield, finds Kudus, who drops back into his own half, goes all the way to Todibo and then out to Wan-Bissaka on this near side, into Kudus back to Todibo, keeping possession. West Ham inside their own half. 12.5 minutes gone. West Ham 0, Newcastle 0, live on TalkSport. The Carabao Cup final on Sundays, live on TalkSport. We'll be there for that one. Lee Clark, part of our commentary team. Darren Bent will be with us as well at Wembley as we bring you full coverage of the first showpiece event of the season. Free kick for West Ham, just inside their own half. Clip forward, right down the middle, looking for Kudus. Scher gets up there, then Byrne nudges it back towards Nick Pope, and they'll be cleared away. He needs some minutes and some good performances, Nick Pope, doesn't he? Because he had a few sort of wobbles since coming back from his 2-month absence.
But a bit longer for keepers to get their rhythm, isn't it, normally? Can't expect them just to come in straight away, and that reactiveness and that sharpness. Just talking about West Ham, I find it, the more I watch Bowen, the better he gets. I think it's unfathomable to think that one of the big boys might not come in for him in the summer.
It's going to cost a lot. He's got a long contract now.
He has, but he's reliable. Gets you goals, gets you assists, works hard, runs teams ragged.
He's a terrific player. He's got a big year, actually. He's getting married in May.
28, isn't he?
He is 28 years of age, yes, correct. Ball one high up by Barnes, who sends it towards the left. Isaac into the penalty area, guides it along the 18-yard line, running laterally towards the centre, lays it off to Tonali, who spreads it back out wide to the left. Barnes takes over now, went to cross it. He did have an overlap available to him in Livramento. It hit the back of Ward-Prowse and eventually fell to the England full-back, and then goes back into Tonali. Back out to Livramento again. Livramento into Barnes. Livramento continues and plays it infield. Murphy round the corner. He's blocked off there by Souček. And the ball is eventually cleared by West Ham. But that was the first bit of sort of enterprising football we've seen down this left-hand side involving Barnes and Livramento.
When Isak got one-on-one with spit it out, for God's sake.
Jean-Claude
Todibo, yeah. I thought Todibo did really well there, matching him as he cut inside. Moved his feet really lovely and kept the speed with him. Really good defending, it was impressive.
Made his first start under Graham Potter against Arsenal, kept his place. He was part of a very tight defence at Nice last year. And he's on a season-long loan this campaign at West Ham United.
I might just call him Jean-Claude.
We'll let you get away with it.
It's Todibo. It's all right. It's just a one-off.
4 yards in front of the halfway line. West Ham have a free kick. It's left of centre. James Ward-Prowse is standing over it. I haven't had too much goalmouth action in the opening 15 minutes after what was a really bright start to the game, where Souček really should have tested Nick Pope. Free kick then. Ward-Prowse being on these free kicks gives them an extra dimension now, back in the team after a return from Nottingham Forest. I couldn't understand why they loaned into Nottingham Forest in the first place, to be honest. It's clipped forward down the right-hand side, up to Souček, but it's away by Joel Linton. It's headed further clear by Barnes, and it will come to Livramento, tight to the left touchline. He sort of shoveled it infield uncomfortably, found Joel Linton just about, and then Tonali holds on to it, uses it well, and they get out the other side. Down the right they come with Kieran Trippier. He moves over the halfway line. Infield to Bruno Guimaraes. Back to Trippier once more. Anyhow, just standing right on the edge of the technical area, bellowing instruction as the ball goes back to halfway. And Newcastle slow the approach play down and then come out towards this near side with Livramento on halfway. Still 0-0, looking for our first goal of the game. 17 gone. Cher rifles the ball forward, looking to find Isaac, but he didn't have the strength or pace on the ball to reach the big Swede. It was cut out before it got to source.
It was good from Ward-Prowse, spotting the through ball, spotting the danger. Just filling in those little spaces in front of that back five.
Now it's out to Trippier again, over the halfway line. Murphy into Bruno Guimaraes. They'll go to the left now, and a bit of space here for Livramento to run into. He immediately is engaged by Souček. He goes on to Barnes and then back to Livramento. Barnes makes a run on the inside. Guimaraes has come out to join them. He then waits and then goes forward on the inside channel, gets into the area, feeds it into Barnes, and Barnes, well, I don't think he really knew where the goal was there.
I think he lost his bearings. Brilliant from Guimaraes. Waited, patient, probing, looking. Great little run from Harvey Barnes. Giving him too much time here, West Ham. He's on the edge of the box, needs some pressure on the ball. He either mishit it or he lost his bearings, one or the other. We'll just look at the replay now. Inside left position on the corner of the 6-yard box. Yeah, he tries to chip him and miskicks it. He knows where the goal is, he's just mishit it.
Yeah, he just seemed to get into such a good position there. It seemed inexplicable that he wasn't going to go further across the goalkeeper.
Yeah, or just smash it low with your left foot rather than be so precise.
Good opportunity that for Newcastle United. One good opportunity apiece. 19 gone. TalkSport on a Monday night. Isaac now picks it up. Inside right channel. Moves out towards the right a little bit further on, and then onto Murphy. Infield it goes to Bruno Guimaraes, and then into Isaac again. He wrapped that into Isaac from Bruno Guimaraes. Didn't quite reach Murphy, which might have been the intended target. It bounced off the Swede. And West Ham have possession back inside their own territory. With Souček out wide to Skulls. Can't keep it in, can he? It's out for a throw-in.
Problem West Ham have at the moment, and Newcastle just started getting a foothold in the game because of the fullbacks. And what Graham Potter is asking Souček and Alvarez to do is go. They're playing in a midfield three with Ward-Prowse, and he's asking them to go out to the fullback so the wing-back doesn't get dragged out. And that is a hell of a long evening for Alvarez and Souček to keep doing that. Really difficult. I've played that role. Midfielders hate it because you end up playing wide more than you do inside. Look, they're again 2v1 here.
Here is Joel Linton feeding Isaac down the left channel, gets into the box, needs some help, has got it in bundles with Livramento and Joel Linton in attendance now. On the left-hand side, square ball into Bruno Guimaraes, back outside to Livramento, into the penalty area, left-footed ball is going to go all the way through to Trippier, edge of the area, smacks it goals, little flick by Barnes, saved by Areola, and pushed away. Barnes has retrieved it. Tonali's got it back again. Takes it out wide towards the right. Trippier gets it back once more. Back into Barnes, who had that little flicked effort through his own legs that almost a little bit similar to the one that Joshua Zirkzee started yesterday against Arsenal. Guimaraes in towards the edge of the penalty area. Played into Isaac, gets the return, goes down, looks for a penalty. He's not going to get one.
Great chance though just before that. Barnes again in good areas. I think he started the game really brightly. Harvey Barnes, this is the potential penalty shout here. No, dive, yellow card. Should be.
It isn't, so he doesn't go in the referee's notebook. But like you said, the key thing there was the chance that Barnes had, because they managed to create an overload on the far side, the right. There was loads of space for Trippier. He wrapped it through a crowd of players eventually, and Barnes ran across the near post and flicked it with the inside of his right foot coming across the back of the ball, and it was a good save by Areola. It remains 0-0. Ball sent long out towards Jacob Murphy, but it's going to be Kilman who gets there first. Hooked further clear from midfield. There's a collision between Trippier and Alvarez. West Ham emerge with the ball. Kudus has it. Alvarez still down. Referee thinking about stopping the game, but Alvarez is getting back to his feet. Bowen made a run down the left, which, if spotted, would have been quite promising for West Ham. Didn't come off, and it goes all the way back to Areola deep inside his own half. And I think after West Ham had that first opportunity in the game, Newcastle actually have created more the longer the game has gone on.
They've settled, yeah. They've worked it out. They've worked out where the space is. And Souček and Alvarez have done that much running early on in the game. They can't do the yards to keep getting out to the fullback. So I think eventually what will happen is you'll either ask the wing-backs to go out and match up with the full-backs and let the West Ham back three deal with the Newcastle three, because otherwise they're going to keep getting these overloads wide.
He's quite a tactically flexible coach.
He is. I expect him to adapt, yeah, if it carries on like this, because it's too easy to get out.
I mean, his ideal is to control possession, Graham Potter, largely. The wing-backs are always important in this system. He likes them to get up and support the attack as well. But if it's not working like it hasn't been in the last 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes or so since Newcastle have sussed out the system, then usually he will make an adjustment. Ball kicked clear by Areola. Headed away by Byrne, but he's headed it straight to Wan-Bissaka. And here's a bit of room for him now, down this right-hand side, looking to try and bound towards the edge of the penalty area. Stumbled slightly as he went to cross it, then fell over. And it's been pinched by Livramento, and now Newcastle come on the charge, and they've got numbers here if he can use the ball correctly. He's skipped infield, and then he's fallen over as well and given it back to West Ham. And now Bowen has been played in by Kudus, edge of the area, into the box, left-footed shot, not enough power on it. It was saved by Pope down in front of the goal away to our right. Almost spilt it for Kudus to come and attack a loose ball, but he grabbed it at the second attempt.
It's like dancing on ice. Everyone's at it. The only thing that didn't happen there was Bowen finding the net, because in those positions he's one of the best. He just kind of got the ball stuck underneath his feet, couldn't set it out into the far corner. Give away from Livramento there, put West Ham in a wonderful position. I actually thought Ward-Prowse should have held his run to give Bowen the space to be 1v1.
You're listening to West Ham 0, Newcastle 0 on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs. Ball is on halfway, and Newcastle have it. Barnes taking on Wan-Bissaka, played in towards Tonali. Strong running by the Italian.
Brilliant.
Plays it down the left. It's collected by Livramento. His ball into the near post is cut out. Off Souček and goes behind and away for a corner.
Well, again, Souček is having to cover. He's come out wide, then he's had to track Livramento all the way to the touchline, the goal line, I should say, sorry. Can't maintain that level of running in that what he's asking them to do.
Well, corner being taken on the near touchline by Kieran Trippier. So far, one shot a piece on target in the game, one shot a piece off target in the game. This is the first corner kick that anyone's had so far tonight. It'll be taken by Trippier, and there's a lot of movement inside the box. It's deep towards the far post. It's headed back across the face of goal, and then Barnes with the second header after Burns' initial reach is pushed beyond the post by Alphonse Areola, and that's two good saves that Areola has made from Barnes in the opening 25 minutes.
Yeah, it's two good saves, but Barnes has got himself in 3 or 4 really good positions, getting himself in really good goal-scoring positions off that wide left mark. Something crucial for wide men to do is keep getting themselves inside, closer to the goal where they can get those type of goals. Been really impressed with him, really bright start for him.
Scores more goals against West Ham than he does against anybody else. Hasn't scored yet tonight, but he's certainly made sure that Alphonse Areola's reflexes have been tested. 2 good opportunities already in the game. Ball out over on the far side, collected by Trippier. Tonali with a deep cross right towards this near side. It's hit straight back through the box by Cher, comes back out off Souček and then collected by Isak. Nice touch into the box, gets the return into Joel Linton. Couldn't find the second after the give and go, and it's scrappily cleared away. But Joel Linton's fought for it and got it back down the left for Cher, who did a no ball in towards the near post, but it's too close to the goalkeeper, who drops on it, smothers it, and will clear it away for West Ham. But it's Newcastle that are doing the attacking.
Yeah, it's good play on this left side. Cher gets himself in, has all the time in the world. Isak actually pulls out. It's the wrong move for him. If he's got to run across the keeper there, he'll have a tap in. It's too congested to pull out. There was no space for Cher to pull it back to him. They've settled now, Newcastle. Look much more comfortable.
Absolutely. And West Ham, who have won the last 2, have actually had a really difficult run of form if you look at the season as a whole. And it's been such a drop-off in all aspects, really, of the game from what went before when they were qualifying for the European places, winning the Conference League. The win over Leicester actually meant they've won back-to-back games for the first time in a year. It's unlikely, or was always unlikely, that they were going to win 3 games in a row. There's still an opportunity for them to do that, but it was going to be a tough task against a Newcastle team with their recent history as well.
Well, they still look a threat. The thing is, in this formation, when you've got the ball and Newcastle are trying to come after you, you've got that 2v2 with Kudus and Bowen against Cher and Burn, which is a real threat for them, but they haven't had enough good possession of the ball in the last 10 minutes.
And one of the things they did in their away game was they gave up possession of the ball, really, and then counter-attacked quite well and scored 2 goals and got themselves all 3 points. Ball delivered towards the edge of the box by Trippier. And may well be the same recipe tonight for West Ham. It's a poor clearance by Scholes, which is given straight back to Livramento. He finds Trippier and he decides to go all the way back to Nick Pope. Pope to Livramento, near side the left as they look at it, but he wants to get it onto his right foot all the time, Livramento, which is a problem. And then he's given it back to Pope in a difficult circumstance. He was being pressurised by Bowen. He's
wasn't
the
that
ball
difficult?
Straight out. I mean,
it's just his weak part of his game.
That's not his forte, is it, though?
No. I think you should be confident enough on these pitches to fizz it back to your goalkeeper and expect him to have either foot getting up the pitch.
Well, good news for anyone hoping to be in the England squad on Friday, which will bring you live from Wembley on Friday, March 14th, 11 o'clock in the morning, is that Thomas Tuchel is in the house having quite an in-depth conversation with Mark Noble as he sits up high here in the
Mark Noble's trying to get a cap.
He's been waiting long enough for one.
That's what I mean, he deserved one as well, actually.
West Ham 0, Newcastle 0, 29 minutes gone. The latest odds are available at Ladbrokes, where right now you can back West Ham to win the game at 9-4, Newcastle at 13-10. The draw is 2-1. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes. 18 plus, BigGambleAware.org. This is TalkSport, and so far Newcastle have looked the most likely, but West Ham United, well, always a threat on the counter. Kept in just about by Wan-Bissaka after Souček delivered him a rather dicey looking ball up towards Bowen, who holds it well in front of Scher, who then pinches it. There was a push though, was there? Free kick has been given in West Ham's favour on the halfway line. They don't take it long, they go quick and short and look to try and build the play again. Kilman then turns it back to Todibo. He plays it infield. It's a risky ball into Ward-Prowse. It's a nice touch round Livramento by Wan-Bissaka. Then on to Souček. A step over by Bowen. Good awareness. Found Kudus, who tests the palms of Pope from 20 yards. He pats it down and makes an easy save. But the intelligence of Bowen, just to know that he wasn't able to nick that, but if he left it and it ran through, it would come to Kudus, was pretty joyous to watch.
It was a good move all round. Good play from Wan-Bissaka. And once the ball goes into these two, you know they've got the creativity and the technical ability to cause you problems. Really clever from Bowen. Decent strike, just straight down Pope's throw. Here to go again.
Kudus bounding forward again, gets to the edge of the area, still looking for his first goal since Graham Potter took over. Mohamed Kudus, he's lost it there and it's been played out towards the far side, and now Isak is running at the defence, and it's Isak versus the West Ham defence. He feeds Bowen, edge of the area. Brilliant intervention from Wan-Bissaka, who made up the ground and then dived in and just about got enough on the ball to steer it out of Barnes' path.
Such a wonderful recovery tackle. His athleticism to get a touch on that ball. It was the right ball from Isak. Barnes had made another great break. And that lunge we've seen from Wan-Bissaka so many times, he always seems to get it right, doesn't he?
Those telescopic legs are quite an asset, aren't they, in circumstances like that. It was played in by Isak, and he looked favourite Barnes, but the ball was just sort of slowed up, and that allowed Wan-Bissaka to time his intervention perfectly. He didn't exactly steer it clear of Barnes. What he did almost was play it onto Barnes, which meant that everybody had to slow up, and by that point there was enough West Ham bodies back. He really helped his team out. Good defending. Byrne sends it forward. Isak, was he coming from an offside position according to the assistant on the far side? He didn't, and they continue to bring it forward. Tonali into the penalty area now, played in by Gumarães, and then he sort of went wide of the goal rather than into the goal, and Isak a little bit frustrated by that, goes into the arms of Areola, and now they will clear. Not much from West Ham as an attacking force. The effort from Kudus from range is about the best we've seen since that Souček effort from 6 yards out.
Yeah, they're just a little bit raggedy. They've had moments, haven't they? Little moments. But overall, I think Newcastle Eddie Howe will be more pleased.
West Ham haven't been at their best when they've been playing the best. When anyone from the upper echelons of the table enters the picture, they tend to wilt. 7 defeats in 9 Premier League games against those in the top 6 this season. The exceptions being Arsenal, a recent win, and Newcastle earlier in the season. Here is Barnes, turning on halfway, clipping it forward, looking for the run of Isak, headed away by Todibo. Barnes went to win it again. Tonali in a fight ball with Ward-Prowse, came away with it initially, then skipped away from a challenge brilliantly into the left wing position, tried to play it infield. Todibo got a touch on it, steered it away from Barnes, and now Wan-Bissaka is looking for an escape route. He scoops it forward. It's not a great ball.
That was a great mini example there of the athleticism and the speed of Newcastle's midfield compared to West Ham's. I mean, I like Ward-Prowse, big fan of what he does, but compared to Tonali there, he was second best twice, just from Tonali's power and speed.
Here's another one of those in that midfield trio, which when they work together always looks good. Gumarães onto Livramento, wide on the left is Barnes. Unlucky. And then he was hoping that Livramento had continued his run. He hadn't. He'd stopped, and the ball just dribbles gently out over the goal line and out for a goal kick away to our left. This is TalkSport. Monday Night Football, 33 minutes gone, and it's West Ham 0, Newcastle United 0. Lucas Paquetá on the bench alongside Emerson, just having a little bit of a chat.
Yeah, you see, they're the two type of players who should be in the team. Both creative, both can produce moments. Emerson's got a wonderful left foot, scores goals from that left wing-back position. Good on-set plays. And Lucas Paquetá at 70% is better than the three in the middle of the park for West Ham. That's that. You know what? That's the tackle. Tonali's down at the minute. That's the tackle.
I was about to say, there's an issue here for Tonali, who's picked up a a problem.
He tried to smash him, that's why, and he was too quick for him.
Well, the ball was loose. The two of them went in for a fight ball, and they came out the other side, and he almost got caught, did he, as he went past Ward Prowse. I think that might be the issue. Just stretching out his right leg. He's hoping that there's nothing more than just a little tweak there. Nervousness for Eddie Howe, bearing in mind what's happening with Lewis Hall and Sven Botman, and having lost Anthony Gordon for the final on Sunday, would not want to lose Sandro Tonali.
Well, to be fair to him, he has got Willock, Longstaff and Miley, who are all very good players. But, yeah, Tonali's the one you should be worrying about. The player is the one that suffers if he misses the final. The manager just has to pick someone else.
I think he's the best of those players, though, isn't he, in that position?
Yes,
Tonali?
he is. I'm just trying to, you were talking about Eddie Howe being worried. I mean, the player's the one that should be worried. Internally, when you get a knock, a week or two. I mean, I remember missing a final after going in half-hearted challenge with Rio Ferdinand, and he went in properly, and I ended up tweaking my medial ligaments and missing the final.
What final was that?
League Cup final against Birmingham. We won, thankfully, on penalties, and I'd played all the rounds.
Remember it.
Blame myself, really, not Rio.
Crossfield pass by Todibo. Was that part of the trio of cup final wins in 2001? One of the best games I've seen. It was the Alaves final.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Here is Harvey Barnes for Newcastle United as they come down the left-hand side. Tonali comes back onto the pitch having received his treatment. Infield it goes to Bruno Guimaraes, 5 yards short of the 18-yard box. Joel Linton, then back to halfway.
See, I'd be tempted if I was Graham Potter to get Ferguson on and match him up and play a 4-3-3.
Would you take one out of the back line for that?
Yes. Let's go to a back four, match them up in midfield, 3v3, and let two wide men go against the full-backs. And the centre forward occupy the three in midfield for West Ham is a problem, because he's asking them to come out and cover the Newcastle full-backs, and it's too big a job.
And it's defence versus attack for most of this game.
It is.
And Newcastle are on the attack. And here is Joel Linton, edge of the area, right-footed shot, which I think probably ends up in the cycling dome.
It's poor, that Sam finish, but the actual attempt, the build-up to the attempt to get the chance to shoot from the edge of the box, they didn't have to do anything to do it other than find the fullback. By the time Souček got over there, Trippier had the time and space, put his head up, and he found Joel Linton on the edge of the box. So, irrelevant of Newcastle's finishing or their quality in the final third, getting there is too easy for them.
And that's something that West Ham have got to try and put a stop to at the start of the second half, because there's just too much space in those wide areas, which then creates space in the middle when the midfield is vacated to try and block them up. And Joel Linton's gone into a tackle on halfway. Michael Salisbury has penalised him, and the free kick has been given to West Ham United. And Newcastle have had more than a week to work on their game plan. West Ham have had 10 days between games. I mean, you could imagine with these two coaches that they would probably deliver some sort of well choreographed tactical performance on both sides of the pitch. Bearing in mind they both love being on the grass for an extended period, I'm sure they would have enjoyed that. Eddie Howe has tended to get the better of Graham Potter when the two have come up against one another. Potter not beaten him since the first meeting 5.5 years ago. Here's a free kick from the centre circle. Kick long, Pope comes and claims rather easily inside the box. And that's his good point, isn't it? You know, he does come and do that, Nick Pope, and he's absolutely huge.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got presence like that, that's exactly what you want the keeper to do. Take the pressure off the back four, the back five, wherever it may be, and come and get your crosses and your set plays. Just give everyone a breather, which he did well there.
Newcastle have a good record here as they kick the ball out of play over on the far side. They're unbeaten in their last 5 visits. Can they continue that record tonight? Here is Bruno Guimaraes playing it infield. Good ball infield to Joel Linton. Over on the left in loads of space is Livramento. Joel Linton going to the edge of the box. Feeds Livramento now. He's down the left side of the area. Gets it back to Tonali. Tonali comes forward. Forces Livramento wide. There were options in the penalty area there for Livramento.
He didn't want to cross it on his left, Sam. It was a great move. That's the best example you'll ever see of a right footer playing on the left. in a left-back position, or vice versa, where they don't want to cross it on the weak foot, so they cut back, and the whole momentum of the move goes.
And here is Barnes, back out to Tonali, now to Livramento again. Tonali shifting it onto his right foot, coming infield into Bruno Guimaraes, who skips past Kudus, goes down, wants a free kick, isn't going to get there, and eventually it comes out towards the right full-back position, and Wan-Bissaka, who is engaged by Livramento, attempts to clear. He does that up to Bowen. Bowen takes it out of play. It's a throw-in on this near side for Newcastle United. It remains 0-0 before we reach half-time. It's 5 minutes to go. Souček, who's had a little bit of an issue recently, has just gone down in the middle of the park.
It's only his boots come off. I think he's having a breather, all that running he's being asked to do.
I'm just waiting as he puts back his footwear onto his left boot. Jarrod Bowen just asking for clarification from Michael Salisbury about an infringement he thought he saw.
Do you know, although it's not the best game in the world for goalmouth action, the tactical element's so fascinating. It's little small things that win and lose your games, and how the players carry out the messages and the plan.
Isaac down the left for Newcastle. He's come out wide to receive the ball. Joe Linton into Tonali, and then the ball by Tonali out towards Isaac was never going to reach the Swede. It was cut out by Todibo, and it's out for a throw-in on this near side. 5 minutes before half-time. Isaac hasn't really had a sniff of goals so far. He's looking for his 20th Premier League goal of the season. Only one player in Newcastle's recent history has scored 20 Premier League goals or more in multiple seasons in the Premier League, and that is...
Well, do me a favour.
He's at the top of every list. Alan Shearer. Pope. Oh dear. He's done a little bit of footwork to take the ball away from Alvarez. Alvarez has gone out to the left-hand side to block the pass to Shearer, and then he just sort of fell over and collapsed in a heap.
Not like you coming out of the pub at the weekend, then.
I was very well behaved this weekend, actually, I'll have you know. And that despite going to a rather boozy 40th birthday party. Here is Livramento down the left-hand side, getting towards the edge of the penalty area, plays it into Barnes. Barnes now facing up Souček, sends it to Murphy. Murphy cracks one, hits Cresswell, who blocks it. Did take a whack for his sins, and it goes out towards the far side, and Kudus is pushed out by Tonali. It's out for a throw-in on halfway.
Need to get Kudus on the ball more. The way he protects the ball, moves the ball, gets the ball up the pitch. He's not got him the ball enough.
It's kind of been a bit like that, though, hasn't it? You know, even with Newcastle United, a lot of their efforts have been sort of from the edge of the penalty area or from just wide of centre. The two Barnes chances, the exceptions to those, but apart from that, a lot of the play has been the approach play that has been the impressive stuff, and then there hasn't really been enough for Areola to do apart from the two Barnes saves.
No, I still feel that the Newcastle players have stretched this defence of West Ham a lot more than the other way round. I mean, if Livramento had a left foot, or if you had a left back there, Lewis Hall playing there, so many times they've had space in there to whip it in, and he's come back on his right foot. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's not been
swashbuckling, has it?
No. It started well.
Yeah, it certainly did. We had a chance inside the first 25 seconds in which Souček sort of found himself inside the box after a mistake by Livramento. Meant that he could get the shot away, but it sort of came at him very quickly. Kudus is running through now, and he's with Trippier, and he's got there ahead of Trippier, and he's into the box. Can he turn on it? No. Livramento is back. Bowen joining his shot. He's cracked away by Byrne. And that's really what West Ham can do. That would have been smash and grab. And they did create a chance. And that chance came from Mohamed Kudus. One ball up to him.
It was just a big long ball that Alvarez flicked on, and Kudus was in, and he tried to do the right thing. He tried a little nice spin and protect the ball so he get his shot off. Didn't quite happen for him, and then Bowen's follow-up shot actually hit Kudus.
Ball out far side, collected by Skulls. Up into Kudus. Kudus out wide towards the left, and now it's picked up by Ward-Prowse and switched from left side to right, taken down out of the sky by Wan-Bissaka. into Todibo. Todibo with a cross, headed away by Byrne. And then it's collected on halfway by West Ham's Max Kilman. Just 90 seconds to go before the conclusion of the first 45 minutes. 45 minutes that I think Newcastle will be happier with, but a little bit frustrated that they haven't taken the lead in the game. Here is Bruno Guimaraes over the halfway line, charging forward, looking to push it into the path of Murphy. Murphy is not going to get beyond Cresswell there, who did enough to block him off so that he couldn't chase after the loose ball. Kilman tidies up, and West Ham have it deep inside their own territory. Ward-Prowse, just a dicey pass back towards Cresswell, who's being pressed by Isaac. Joel Linton now trying to get hold of possession. He's done that down the right-hand side. Scholes comes across, wins it back, and eventually it's cleared. It's given straight out of play over on the far side. And Scholes wasn't ready for the return ball, and it goes out over on the far touchline for a throw-in.
They've not had any attacking threat down that wing-back left Scholes side. The left wing-back is more defensive-minded, which is fine, but they've got no outlet that side.
He's done really well in the games that I've seen him beforehand. The one game against Aston Villa he did really well. He did well in the Arsenal game a couple of weeks ago.
I just think sometimes, especially when you're at home against a team, when you can feel like maybe you can go after a little bit. Newcastle have been struggling a bit recently. You want your wing backs to be a bit more forward thinking.
2 minutes of added time at the end of the first 45, and it's a throw into West Ham now over on the far touchline, level with the edge of the 18-yard box. The London Stadium ready for refreshment, I think. Empties quite quickly to join the queues for the specialist concession outlets. The referee just... there's a little push by Edson Alvarez there on Bruno Guimaraes. The two coming together, the Mexican and the Brazilian, exchanging words, and then there was a shove by Alvarez, and he doesn't need to get involved now, but there is a little bit of a head-to-head going on and a bit of handbags at dawn. You never played that game?
No.
Me
dear.
neither.
Dear. Nobody wants to see that. It's a bit of silliness there. We want to keep 11 on. Although it's fair to say Bruno can go down rather easily at times.
Well, you'd have already had him in the book, wouldn't you? If it was up to you.
For diving,
for diving, yeah. There was an exchange of words, and that went on for a little while, and then Alvarez went over and then just pushed him to the floor.
Oh, come on.
Alvarez went down. I mean, it was a really hefty touch, Danny, that. I mean, oh, God. It's a knockout blow, wasn't it?
Don't like to see that. Nobody wants to see that now.
It was a little bit of theatrics from Bruno Guimaraes, which was an attempt to get his fellow, I was going to say South America, but Mexico's Central America, isn't it, into a spot of bother. 47 minutes have been played. The referee's had enough, and he's called a halt to proceedings. Both these two teams have had a long time to think about this game plan. So far, no one has made the breakthrough. Newcastle has certainly had the better of it, despite the fact that Thomas Souček could have opened the scoring within the first 30 seconds. But Harvey Barnes has had two really good opportunities, both saved by Alphonse Areola, who's had a good start to the game. So Newcastle, but they're not in front. West Ham 0, Newcastle 0.
Can you imagine, second half, if Edson Alvarez decides to try that on with Bruno Guimaraes, the ref falls for it, sends Bruno off, and he misses the final. Can you imagine?
Well, I wouldn't be too upset, to be honest.
In terms of, you wouldn't have any sympathy for Bruno, because you're a Liverpool fan.
Yeah.
But Bruno Guimaraes, I don't know why he needs to do that. I just think it's ridiculous. And if it comes back to haunt him, if there's a bit of revenge in the second half, you can't have any sympathy. Listen, you said in that first half, and I thought it was really interesting, that it was, not the greatest for goalmouth action, but tactically interesting and intriguing, fascinating. Just expand on that. What tactically specifically?
Well, the way the two managers have set up and how that impacts the game, and then when the game pans out, if you like, how then they react or don't. So Graham Potter has set up with a five at the back and a three-man midfield and two up top. Now, what he's asking the wide men of the three, which is Alvarez and Souček, because Ward-Prowse play in the middle of them, he's asking them, when the two Newcastle fullbacks get the ball, you've got to go out if you can and get some pressure on the ball. So you're coming from in to out, because he wants his wing backs to stay on Harvey Barnes and Murphy and be nice and solid and not concede. It feels a bit defensive.
Yes, yeah.
Now the problem with that is, and it's fine for the first 10 minutes when your energy's up, that Alvarez and Suche aren't the most athletic, speedy players anyway. And even if you were, this would be difficult. You've got two fullbacks who are both clever, both good footballers, Livramento and Trippier, started getting on the ball, and the other players realise that's where the space is. So they're getting high up the pitch and having easy possession and getting up towards the West Ham defensive third without having to play well. Because it's just so easy, because the two spare men for West Ham are in their back line.
Yeah.
And they can't get pressure on the ball.
So they're basically playing 7 defenders, if you like.
Well, no, you've got your 5, and then your midfielder dropping and open them. But what I'm saying is that West Ham are giving up possession to Newcastle to protect their goal. That's what it feels like. And hoping on the turnovers, because the fullbacks are going, then they've got the 2v2. So they'll soak up pressure, break Bowen and Kudus against Dan Burn and Cher, and he's looked at it and thought, that'll do me.
Yeah.
We don't have to have all the possession. If I've got them two against them two, I'd fancy us to score.
Okay, and that's fair enough. And they've had chances, and if they put the chances early on away, the Souček one, he's got to score.
That's one chance.
Yeah, okay.
Overall, the benefit of the systems has worked for Newcastle more than West Ham.
Okay, so Danny Dyer was saying in the piece we heard before that one of the things he loves about Graham Potter is that he changes things. He makes the subs. He can see things happening in games and reacts to it. Yeah. So right now, at half-time, he will have been talking to his coaches, his staff, bouncing things off them and making those changes in the dressing room, either instructing the 11 or making substitutions to change things for the better for West Ham in the second half.
Well, he's only got 2 ways of changing it. One is a formation thing, a tactical formation
Go
thing.
for it at the back or whatever.
Or where he matches them up, maybe, yeah.
Yep.
But the other thing he might be looking at is, I think we're okay in this formation because we're not conceding many chances, but he'll be insisting they keep the ball better to cause the problems of the two, to get the 2v2. That's why he set it up.
Yeah.
Get their fullbacks to come on, leave them to... West Ham been poor on the ball. Been a bit frantic with their clearances, nobody calm enough to play out to get them two against them two often enough up the pitch. So he might leave it for a bit and say, look, we've got to be better on the ball. Or he might just switch it and go 4-3-3.
Quick one, is there an element of, they're at home as well, there's a big crowd here, an emotional crowd given Antonio was unveiled to the crowd earlier. I just wonder, they don't like negative defensive football. There's a West Ham way. David Moyes was criticised for not doing it. Lopetegui went very quickly for not playing the West Ham way. He's got to do a little bit of that because they're not playing that open attacking football, are they?
No. It's been a little bit cautious.
He's got to be careful with it, isn't he? You've got to keep this crowd happy.
The problem he's got in his mind, like all good coaches, is they're always thinking worst case as well. If he goes for it a little bit more, brings Evan Ferguson on, goes at 3 up top, plays 3 for 3 against Newcastle's really good midfield, and trusts his back 4 to keep Isak quiet. Sorry, Isak and then the wingers. It's a risk.
Yeah.
Because Newcastle don't mind those type of games. They tend to do well in games where teams, it's end to end. So he's in. Don't want to lose it. Or is he bold enough to go? Actually, I think we can win this.
Well, we'll see. Second half is coming up live and exclusive and only on TalkSport. It is game night and it's goalless. West Ham 0, Newcastle United 0.
Monday game night on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our Odds Boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18+. Gambleaware.org.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a treehouse in the garden.
I'm living my perfect childhood.
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Want a day off deciding what to eat? Sit back, relax, and let us do the thinking for you. And the cooking, and the cleaning. From salmon fillet Mondays to fish and chips Fridays. IKEA family members can try a different £3 dish of the day every weekday in store. IKEA, the wonderful everyday. T's and C's and exclusions apply. Find out more at ikea.co.uk.
The season is shaping up, and whether they're going for glory or going down, it's all to play for. Get the ultimate football coverage with the Sun's free pull-out Goals! With the best writers pitchside for in-depth match reports, it's all about goals! And with unrivaled news from the Premier League to League Two, it has to be goals! Stay up to date on all the latest football action. Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday, only in the Sun.
The new £5 meal deal from McDonald's. Get a cheeseburger or mayo chicken, medium fries, 4 McNuggets and a medium soft drink for guess what? That's right, £5. It's not called the £5 meal deal for nothing. From 11 a.m. Not available on delivery. Carbonated soft drink upgrade fees apply. Participating restaurants subject to availability.
At Screwfix, we've locked the prices on everyday van essentials. Like WD-40 at £6.98. A 100-pack of Easy Fix wall plugs at 94p. And a 200-pack of Gold Screw multi-purpose screws at £2.69. We've got your back with prices you can rely on the products you use the most. In stock and ready to go. Saving you the hassle of shopping around. Order on the app and collect in-store today. Prices valid until at least 6th of April. Visit screwfix.com for T's and C's. Delivery charges and restrictions apply.
At Betfair, we're about finding different ways to play. Like with our 90-minute guarantee. We've all been there. The clock ticks over into 90 minutes, and then a speculative cross into the box ricochets off a knee and goes in, ruining your bet. But with Betfair's 90-minute guarantee, if your bet is winning at 90 minutes or full time, we pay out. Betfair. Play different.
Applies to match odds 90 market or markets with the 90 icon. Sportsbook exclusive. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus BeGambleAware.org.
You don't just check in to a village hotel. You work out. You jump in. You play on. You tuck in and drink up. Village Hotels. 33 locations with everything under one roof. A huge gym with pool and great membership opportunities. And a buzzing pub and grill with delicious food, ice-cold beers and live sport. Check out villagehotels.com and work out, stay, meet and play.
Monday game night on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now. Like West Ham versus Newcastle live today. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Leave behind the workday blues. More live football on a Monday night.
What a chance, what a goal!
This is Game Night on TalkSport.
Yeah, game night live at the London Stadium, where it's West Ham 0, Newcastle 0. Second half coming up live. We've all been very worried over the last few days or so about an absolute legend and our TalkSport friend Stuart Pearce. Well, he's going to be on White & Jordan tomorrow, around about midday. So don't miss it. White & Jordan, Stuart Pearce will be on recounting what has happened to him over the last few days. So make sure you're listening to that. It's White & Jordan tomorrow, midday. Stuart Pearce will be their very, very special guest. 0-0 here. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. Get money back as a free bet up to £10 if one leg of your Football 5 Plus acca lets you down. Pre-match straight line accas only. Odds are 3-1 or greater. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Yes, West Ham 0, Newcastle 0. West Ham are 14-5 to win. Newcastle 29-20. The draw is also 29-20. That was the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our Odds Boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18 plus. GambleAware.org.
So Manchester United minority shareholder Sir Jim Ratcliffe has been speaking to the Times' Matt Lawton today. You can catch it on the website now and in the newspaper tomorrow. And he's been discussing a range of topics. He admitted giving Erik ten Hag a new contract in the summer was a mistake. He called Højlund, Onana, Sancho and Anthony inherited, and explained to Lawton why they've made so many cuts and redundancies over the last 12 months. Lawton gave the details to the boys on TalkSport Drive this afternoon.
They've been losing money for the last 7 years. They've lost 300-400 million in the last 7 years. And what he said, the way he broke it down was that costs of running the club have gone up 100 million in that time. Costs of the players have gone up 100 million in terms of salaries, and yet their revenue's only gone up by 100 million. And they were actually at a point, look, they weren't going to go bust because they are owned by Jim Ratcliffe, Britain's richest man, and the Glazers. So they were never going under. But his point was that on paper, unless we actually did something, quoting him, unless we'd made some pretty drastic decisions, we were actually going to run out of cash on paper. The problem with that, of course, is that if you are Ruben Amorim and you want to be able to spend money to start rebuilding this squad, because everyone can see that United just aren't good enough at the moment, they've got to actually sort out that profits and losses sheet. So that's the point he was making, and that's why they've had to make these decisions.
Matt Lawton from The Times, read about it in the paper tomorrow on the Times website, his interview with Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I'm a bit puzzled by all of that. They've still got the bike man, Dave Brailsford. I have no idea what he's doing. Jason Wilcox has gone in there to sort out the football side of it. They're still rubbish. I think if you get involved, as Sir Jim Ratcliffe has, if you get involved with a club like Manchester United, then you have to acknowledge and understand that the fans can only see that the Glazers are terrible owners, that they put the club into massive debt to buy it, and now millions and millions is spent servicing that debt. So Jim, if you want to get involved in United, that's what you need to sort out, not running the club into the ground to pay for the Glazers' mismanagement. I don't know how Sir Jim sorts that out, but that's the pressing issue at Manchester United. That to me is the big problem. They have huge issues at United, obviously, on and off the pitch. There are so many disenchanted, unhappy people working there, but people who genuinely love and care about the club and who need to be looked after by those running the club, but they're not being looked after. I'm not talking about giving them money, just giving them a happy environment to work in, and they haven't even got that. There are people who aren't being made redundant who just don't want to work there anymore because it's not a nice place to work. How on earth is that a positive for Manchester United Football Club? Do not understand that at all. And they definitely need somebody to start making some really good footballing decisions, because they have wasted a huge amount of money on paying off rubbish managers that they've appointed in the first place. I actually don't think, this Sir Jim Ratcliffe interview, I don't think the fans of Manchester United will be getting any violins out for him anytime soon. They expect somebody with that much money and that much power to go into the club and start sorting it out, and that's exactly what he needs to do. There'll be more reaction to this on the Sports Bar later and on TalkSport throughout the day tomorrow. Mentioned Stuart Pearce on White and Jordan tomorrow at midday. Danny Murphy is on with White and Jordan Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. Is that right?
No.
Are you not this week?
No, it's what's the red? Cheltenham, isn't it?
Oh, you're not going to Cheltenham?
No.
Is that too far for you?
I don't do horse racing.
Is it not because you fell out with Simon Jordan last week because he said he took the you-know-what out of you because you said you had a hard-working day out? Is that right?
I don't fall out with people, mate. Not on radio.
No, I'll test that to the full. This morning it was Martin Keown with White and Jordan, and Martin got so wound up by a Man United fan who called in, he actually told the caller not to listen to TalkSport anymore. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Listen, Martin didn't mean it. He was just upset because Arsenal didn't win. Please keep listening to TalkSport. You know it makes sense, and keep listening now because teams are out for the second half on game night on TalkSport, where it's West Ham 0, Newcastle 0. Here's the second half live with Danny Murphy and Sam Matterface.
Thank you very much. Yes, we're back here at the London Stadium where both teams are emerging for the start of the second half. Newcastle in those white shirts with green sleeves and green shorts and socks. West Ham United in claret blue tops with white socks and white shorts, attacking the goal away to our left in the second half. Newcastle attacking their supporters. And we are underway with West Ham's record against Newcastle already looking pretty abysmal, really. 2 wins in 11 meetings in the Premier League since 2019. Both of those have come away from home. But what do they have to do to try and earn a rare win here in the second half, Danny?
I think they've got to keep the ball better when there are turnovers. They've got to get the wing-backs higher up more often. Try and put a bit of pressure on the back four of Newcastle, or have a change of system which will allow one more player to be up there and make it a more compelling game, make it more attack minded for them instead of being content with what they've got and hoping for the front two to create a bit of magic on a breakaway. You know, it's a little bit negative for my liking.
Well, so far no changes from either of the two teams, and no changes in system as of yet from West Ham United. Maybe the tactical idea might change. We'll keep an eye on it for you, because it certainly looks as if the first few minutes of the game, Souček and Alvarez were closer to the front two than they were to the wing back. So we'll see what happens. Here is Cher on the near side.
You could see.
Yeah. Murphy infield looking for Livramento, who's dropped into a more advanced midfield position and sends it wide out to Barnes. Barnes gets to the edge of the penalty area, racing into the box, goes on the outside. The cross is blocked by the trailing leg of Wan-Bissaka, tucked out of the area by Joel Linton, then back to Trippier. Trippier slides it down the side of the box, but Scarles rescues it, turns it quickly into the path of Kudus, who runs up to halfway, needs a bit of support. Alvarez provides it. There's a lot of green grass for him to run into. He's got Souček to his right. Took too long to make his decision about what he wanted to do, by which time Joel Linton had come back and won it for Newcastle United.
Yeah, that's the bit better. That's the bit better quality when they get some good possession that they need. They haven't. In that midfield area, it feels like they're lacking that little bit of creativity, that little bit of really sharp play that you need to break down a defence. You need to play that final ball with a bit more belief and a bit more skill and vision. It's all a bit predictable.
Here is Cher. Oh, it's a poor ball by him, straight into Alvarez. Burner's got it further clear. Again, Scarles just engaging a little bit higher up the pitch, wins it on this near side, exchanges passes with Kudus. Kudus down the left side of the box, gets beyond Cher, gets a crossing position, does deliver a ball into the box, which is headed away by Livramento. It's then Wan-Bissaka who gets first contact on the edge of the box, and West Ham again just pushing a little bit further up here with Cresswell. A decent cross in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It was aimed towards Bowen and headed away by Byrne. Comes back out to Todibo. Back wide on the right with Wan-Bissaka. This is better from West Ham. He holds on to it, Wan-Bissaka. Feeds it into Alvarez. Poor touch by him, but gets away with it. Plays it infield. It does just eventually bounce through to Bowen. Bowen trying to bundle his way through. Oh, Kudus is there. That was a late challenge by Cher. Could it have been a penalty? It was a 50-50 as to whether or not he was going to get the ball there, Cher. The referee says he did.
Yeah, I think Kudus' reaction tells you everything. He wasn't really appealing.
There's a heart-in-mouth moment for the Newcastle fans at the other end of the ground. They're so far away from that that they probably couldn't see it in any clear detail. And we're quite far away from it as well, to be honest with you. We're miles away up here in the main stand.
Great ball.
Lovely touch by Isak as well to take it from Bruno Guimaraes. Then weave his way towards the edge of the box, trying to feed it into Barnes, who made an intelligent run, but players were back to block it, and Ward-Prowse did that.
Great touch from Isak. What a lovely touch. Difficult ball to bring down, and a great run from Barnes. He was millimetres away from putting him in for a one-on-one.
Yeah, another bit of enterprising play from Newcastle. And again, the second half has started well. Ball into the box by Joel Linton, asking too much of Jacob Murphy, and it flies out and away for a goal kick away to our right. We had a fast start to the first 45, and we've had a fast start to this as well. Could there have been a penalty?
Ooh, I tell you what. Seen him give them.
Well, does he get the ball?
Yes, he does, yeah. And then he dives. Yeah, no, it's that unique. Good job you got the second angle. That looked a pen on the first one.
It did. When you look at it from the other side, it doesn't look like he gets the ball.
Yeah, but he does. Good decision. Wonderful officials we've got. Brilliant.
It sounded like you were being a little bit sarcastic there, Danny.
No, I am. But actually, we should be praising. We should be praising good decisions.
That was a good decision.
It was really good. Just having a bit of fun.
No, we're not allowed to have any fun anymore.
That's true. Yeah.
Can't celebrate things that aren't top bins goals.
What you mean, like
yards.
doing your job?
So you're not going to celebrate the referee's success because he just did his job. Well done, ref. Here's Bowen trying to do his job at the other end, taking the ball down the right-hand side, gets into the penalty area. It's onto his left foot. He strikes the ball. Byrne with the attempted intervention. It comes back to Cresswell, who wraps the ball towards the edge of the box, looking for Alvarez. He's off balance again. The ball goes out of play.
Really good defending one-on-one that was from Dan Byrne. Patient, sharp feet, really good. especially against someone like Bowen, who's got that lovely low sense of gravity, and he's working the ball and trying to manoeuvre that space to whip one in. We've seen him do it so many times. Really good from Dan Bowen.
Good defending by Newcastle. A little bit of frustration from Graham Potter, who's standing on the edge of the technical area. Eddie Howe's moving from side to side. He's joined now by Jason Tyndall inside that technical area as the ball is cleared upfield by Nick Pope. Chested down by Byrne. He's given it away to Kudus rather clumsily, and now Kudus is powering into the box. He's got beyond Byrne. Low cross through the 6-yard box. There's no one there to tap it home. It was a really good run by Kudus. He put a really good ball through the 18-yard box, but there was no one there to convert it. And it's cleared away by the Newcastle defence, but only as far as Ward-Prowse, right side of the Newcastle half. A bit further on towards the right was Wan-Bissaka. Infield now. It's with Alvarez back out to the far side. And then infield it goes again to James Ward-Prowse. West Ham haven't done the double over Newcastle for 6 years in the Premier League.
Good start to the second half for West Ham. Higher up the pitch. Better composure on the ball, more measured. They've had a little rocket at half-time, I would suggest.
Souček gets it further out towards the far side. Bowen's attempted cross is blocked, and there is a corner. A corner for West Ham United, which, if my calculations are correct, is one of very few that have taken place for the home team. In fact, yes, it is the first corner of the game for West Ham United. That was a great ball into the box by Kudus, wasn't it? Going down the left-hand side through the 6-yard box, and it just literally cut it in two. Going to be a corner kick over on the far side to be taken by Cresswell. Ward-Prowse is just towards the right angle of the penalty area should they want to go short to him. He's decided to move towards the box now as the ball goes in towards the near post, flicked away by Isaac coming back to help out. Scholes will re-deliver the ball into the area. It comes down and it's half cleared, but it falls for Alvarez, who pinched it off Isaac's toes. Scholes has got it back again, takes it down the left side of the box. He's got Trippier alongside him. Back into Ward-Prowse now. It's with Scholes again.
Good play.
Into Alvarez, and Alvarez now trying to take it infield. Again, there's a little bit of stumbling going on. I don't know if there's a problem with the boots or the pitch or something, but everyone keeps falling over. Here's Kudus down the left, a slide tackle by Trippier to block the cross, sends it out for a corner for West Ham United. 8 gone second half, 0-0.
It's amazing how a bit more positivity and risk to get higher up the pitch and make some tackles and press. Gets the fans on side, rattles the opposition a little bit instead of making life too easy and just dropping off and letting them have that possession. It's how it should be when you're at home.
54 on the clock, and the corner about to be taken by James Ward-Prowse away to our left-hand side. His right-footed delivery is a flat one towards Kudus, who volleys it back across the face of goal. It goes through a crowd of players, and then Trippier gets there first as he runs to the loose ball as it was spiralling into a dangerous zone, and he smashes that out on the far side, and it's away for a throw-in over on halfway. There is a problem here for Joel Linton, who's taken a little whack on his foot, I think. He's getting back to his feet now. Away to our left. Just you were talking quite in detail during that first half, and then again with Adrian at half-time, about the role of those two midfield players in front of Ward-Prowse being asked to shuffle out and help on the flanks.
Yeah.
Has there been a discernible difference, as we thought there might be in the first 10 minutes of this second half?
What I've certainly noticed is Scholes on this side nearest to us getting much higher up the pitch earlier to engage Trippier, and what that does, of course, is it leaves them a bit more open for the counters. If Murphy decides to stay high, then it's a 3v3. But you're at home. You know, on occasion you've got to take a risk, and they've been too passive in that first half.
It's felt to me that Alvarez is playing a little bit more higher up and more central in this second half as well.
They'll be able to stay more central and go and engage.
If Scholes is staying wider.
Yeah. I mean, there's still occasion where you have to get over. If there's a good bit of skill and you see that Cresswell's outnumbered or Scholes is outnumbered, you can come across and support. But I don't think the wide midfield men of three should be the ones engaging the fullbacks. I just don't think it ever works. And when these two systems face up to one another.
Newcastle usually very strong in the first 15 minutes after half-time. They've 11 Premier League goals during that period. Only Crystal Palace have got more, but they almost gave an opportunity away there. And again, the ball's gone back to Pope. A little bit uncomfortable kicking clear, and he's just rifled it out of play under pressure from Bowen.
Well, you see, that's another reason why I always think you should press Newcastle, because the goalkeeper's really uncomfortable playing out. So as soon as it goes to him, I'd be saying press.
Ball out wide towards Wan-Bissaka. Good ball into Alvarez, but across went Bruno Guimaraes and manages to nab it back for Newcastle in the centre of midfield, where most of the action has happened so far today. Good ball. And that's a good ball from Trippier into Bruno Guimaraes, who tries to lift it down the right channel, looking for the run of Isaac. Cresswell, I think many people thought his career at West Ham was over after 10 years or more service at the club, but he has certainly been a favourite of Graham Potter's.
That's because he's intelligent. He's a lovely footballer. He knows how to play the position. Not the most athletic, he's not the biggest lad in the world, but he's bright. And you need bright players at the back who keep the ball well and know the position.
Certainly handled Isaac well there. Here is Kilman stepping forward, then landing it into the path of Cresswell, who tries to curl it forward, but it's cut out by Cher. Bounces on halfway through the legs of Bruno Guimaraes. One back by West Ham. Just have an extra zip about them in the second half.
They do, and also Newcastle have been sloppy. I mean, that was poor from Bruno again. He's not had a great evening, actually. Been sloppy, but very unlike him.
Into Ward-Prowse, switching the play to the left. Scarles helps it on into Kudus. Kudus running away from goal towards the corner flag. Takes it down and away from the 18-yard box, but then feeds Cresswell. Cresswell into Alvarez. And there is Bowen just dropping deep. Now James Ward-Prowse. Now Scarles. Now into Kudus. Kudus trying to turn. Kudus trying to poke it down the left. Gets it back again after the initial block from Trippier. Stopped it from reaching Scarles. Into Alvarez now. Waits. There's not enough movement for him, so he hesitates and he's given the ball away. And now there's a chance for them to break. They set the trap and now they're bouncing with Barnes being played in by Tonali down the left. Todibo across. Good challenge.
Really good.
And not only that, the ball's come out the other side. It's been loose and he's allowed to gallop up and get hold of it. He's run up over the halfway line and then he's just given it away.
He had no options.
So frustrated, he then slammed his hands into the floor, and Newcastle coming back the other way again.
He did the first bit really well. Todibo, it was really good tackle one-on-one with Barnes. Then he broke out and just had no options. He only had the one. And it was too predictable. They read it well.
Bruno Guimaraes out towards the near side. Trippier looking to take on the defender's Scarles. Instead he goes back centrally. Not enough risk attached with either of the two attacks, really, is there? You know, no one's really taking anybody on or trying to cause grief by taking a gamble. Here is Tonali into Isaac. Isaac will surely try to do that. He feeds the ball out towards his near side after showing great balance and good control of the football, although when Murphy then feeds it to Trippier, it's too close to Cresswell, who'll clear it out for a throw-in on this near side.
Too predictable is the word. See the overlap coming, you know, just try. He's a decoy, then you've got to play into somebody's feet in the box. All a bit predictable.
Yeah, it feels a bit like that from both teams. 59 minutes on the clock on TalkSport, and we're live on the Monday Night Football. Here is Murphy. Murphy's cross is blocked. It's out for a corner, and it remains West Ham United 0, Newcastle United 0 on TalkSport with Sky Sports. And don't forget that you can stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract with Now, like West Ham versus Newcastle. Search Now Sports.
See, what you'll find, Sam, as well, is if West Ham keep up that little bit of positive play, that high line, and go after them, get the wing-back pushed on a bit, let the midfielders press on a bit, you'll get this more end-to-end game, more open space, and Newcastle finding the space on the counters.
Corner kick to be taken by Trippier on the near side, the right. He drives the ball deep towards Byrne. It was a poor header by him, actually. It was almost a free header, really, and he could have just sort of powered that back into a dangerous area. He almost ended up looping it right up into the arms of Areola, who collected it and is able to clear. Well, Newcastle 4 points better off after 27 Premier League games than last season, but they were on a really good run towards the end of that campaign and would have got a Conference League place had Manchester United not surprised everyone and won the FA Cup. They probably need a similarly strong end to this campaign if they're to reach the Champions League. A win tonight will take them level on points with Manchester City. A West Ham victory takes them above Tottenham and Manchester United. Here is Bruno Guimaraes. 0-0 the score.
That's the ball.
Out towards the right, and Murphy galloping into the penalty area. A low ball into the box. It's clawed away. Comes back towards Isaac. It's over the top. A brilliant save by Areola. After it took a deflection off Kilman, it was almost an own goal. And falling backwards, he's clawed it away from the line so athletically and so brilliantly. And then Isaac couldn't follow it up.
Well, we talked about Bruno. He's onside. It's a wonderful ball from Bruno to Murphy, who fires it across from the right-hand side. It's a miss kick from Kilman, I think, going into the top corner. Miss kicks it. That's a brilliant scoop from the goalkeeper, and palms it. He actually scoops it to Isak, who's a bit high for him. Can't manoeuvre his feet high enough to get over the ball. What a brilliant save that is.
That's an outstanding save from Alphonse Areola, who earlier in the season was dropped by Julian Lopetegui because he mishandled so often in a game against Tottenham Hotspur that he cost them points. He earned his place back after Fabianski picked up an injury, and he's been there ever since. And he's made a brilliant save there. He stopped a certain goal. That ball going across the face of the area, it caused West Ham all sorts of problems, didn't it, that delivery from Murphy? Kilman couldn't sort his feet out.
No.
And it went over the top and it was heading into the goal before Areola went up diving so acrobatically to his right to claw the ball away.
See, and even that run from Murphy in behind, because Scholes wasn't as deep, there's more space for Murphy to then run in behind. God, my brain's gone.
Okay, we'll come back to it when you've reboosted
Cresswell, sorry.
Here's Murphy back infield to Tonali. Out wide on the left is Barnes. Barnes with a low shot, blocked by Todibo. He'll get it back again here, Barnes. He flicks it in towards Bruno Guimaraes, who's beaten the offside trap and poked it home at the far post. He's nudged it beyond Areola, and he celebrates in front of the Newcastle United fans. Bruno Guimaraes diving in, brilliant ball from Barnes, and Newcastle United celebrate the opening goal of the game.
They think it's offside, the West Ham players. It's tight. Whether or not it is, we'll wait and see, but what a little pass that was into Bruno.
Really good ball by Barnes.
Yeah, he's been good, Barnes. Adrian and I were talking before about, is this an opportunity, you know, an audition for him? Let's have a look on this replay.
Well, the first shot comes back to him, and then he stays in. He's just in front of Alvarez. I think it's Scholes that plays him onside.
Scholes plays him on.
Yeah, Scholes plays him onside, just a little bit too deep. They've checked it.
What a ball.
Michael Salisbury just engaging with his video assistant referee, Alex Chilovic. Are they going to make any amendments to the decision of goal? No, they are not. West Ham 0, Newcastle 1, and the first strike comes from the boot.
The push.
Bruno Guimaraes. That's what they're concerned about now.
Isak
takes it Alvarez away, is that right? As the ball comes up. Kilman takes Kilman away.
He pushes
challenging for the ball.
He pushes him so he jumps under the ball instead of being able to head it. How's that not a foul, by the way?
Well, I don't know. What was the level of push? Because you were saying earlier on that physical contact is physical contact.
Yeah, you're right. Let's leave it.
Alvarez comes off.
I've only seen one replay, Sam, but it did look a push.
Yeah, we'll have a look at it again, hopefully. But it certainly will generate debate tonight as Carlos Soler comes on for Souček and Mavropanos comes on for Todibo. So 3 changes immediately after the goal has gone in by Graham Potter as he looks to respond to this, and West Ham behind against Newcastle by 0-0. And if you've seen it and want to react to it, and you've heard our description of it and want an explanation from Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy tonight, 0371722 3344. What's the producer giggling at?
I don't know.
You just go back to Section K of the Premier League contract. He was giving us a lecture on that earlier, wasn't he, eh? We're all okay with it now.
The game needed a goal.
It did, and we've got one, and it might well just spring West Ham United into life. But listen to the Newcastle United fans; they're very pleased with that. Barnes certainly has taken his opportunity to shine, I think, in this team tonight. He created the goal. Bruno finished it off, but he takes a lot of credit.
It was a brilliant ball. Great run from Bruno, but he looks so fit and sharp and hungry. He's got himself in some great positions, Harvey Barnes.
Well, West Ham have a free kick. It's about 6 yards inside opposition territory. They've got 24 minutes still to play. And Ward-Prowse in towards the edge of the penalty area, flicked on by Kilman, comes loose inside the box, and Dan Burn deals with it. Only as far as Oliver Scarles. Scarles back out to the left, and it's with James Ward-Prowse again.
See, I'm really surprised they've stuck to the same system.
Stuck to the system and brought other players on to play in it. So it's almost as if it's sort of set in stone that they're going to keep doing it.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure where Paquetá's playing yet, but we'll see in a minute. I'm assuming he'll be allowed to go forward and join the... here we go.
Soler exchanging passes with Paquetá. Played out towards the right-hand side. Bowen tries to poke it through the middle. Soler around the corner. Paquetá tries to go beyond the defender. It's cleared away eventually by Livramento and up towards the halfway line. In fact, it was Tonali, I think, who did that clearance.
Yeah.
Out towards the near side. It's been picked up by Scarles as they look to recycle it. On towards Kudus, who's on offside position. And a free kick is given to West Ham, to Newcastle United, who lead by a goal to nil, courtesy of Bruno Guimaraes' third goal of the season. The only goals he'd scored before tonight were headers. They need a goal scorer to level things up, West Ham United. They're going to bring on Evan Ferguson.
Yeah, I thought that was the move at half. I mean, they've started the second half well, actually, but it was always going to make it more of an open game. But there's the goal again. I've just seen the so-called push again. I mean, see here, Sam, there's not enough. Sorry, there's not enough.
There is two hands on the back.
There's two hands on the back.
It's not. For Isaac to have pushed Kilman over, I'm sorry, you're going to need a lot more than that, I think. Ferguson coming on, Cresswell coming off, so they will now change the system, I think, in the next few minutes, Danny, which I think you'll be pleased about.
Well, I'm also pleased to be complimenting the officials again.
Well, exactly, and that's twice tonight.
I mean it sincerely, because that's something that could have easily. I mean, my first look at it when I saw one. I mean, of course they get to see more than one angle as well, but from one angle it did look a pretty obvious push, and then when you watch it again at the other angle, you can see the over-exaggerated jump forward from Kilman, from really two hands brushing him on the back, aren't they? They're not really pushing him, so another good decision.
Ferguson is on, and Cresswell is off.
Yeah, you'd think that would mean a back four now.
Here's the ball into the box from Newcastle United, who lead by a goal to nil. Ferguson still looking for his first goal, and actually missed a great chance when I was here the other Thursday night when he was playing against Leicester. Got a really good chance on the inside left channel, didn't convert it. A chance to end a goal-scoring drought, which has dated back to October when he scored for Brighton against Wolves. 69 gone. This is TalkSport. Back underway with West Ham in possession, just short of the centre circle. It's played forward to Paquetá and then back into the path of Mavropanos, the Greek international, who's not had a great season with West Ham, but has had a very good season with Greece. And he's picked the ball up after Ward-Prowse has played it forward. He's helped it on further towards the right, where it's collected now by Bowen, who he loves to drift out there anyway, and he's now more stationed on that right. Looks for the return over the top. He's gone down in a collision inside the penalty area, and it did very much look as if there was a bit of clumsiness involved there. Bruno Guimaraes is running away. The referee has turned down Bowen's appeals. West Ham unhappy about it, and the VAR will check it.
Bowen didn't really appeal that much, you know.
Well, Bruno Guimaraes just seemed to get a little caught there. Paquetá's ball over the top, being watched by Bruno Guimaraes, just gets across Bowen, just sort of nudges him in the back. I don't think that's going to be a penalty.
Never in a million.
Yeah, no VAR. Play
Super
on.
little ball from Paquetá, though. Super little pass. That's what we're talking about when they've got him in the team. The risk taking, the ability to open defences.
Yeah, which we haven't seen enough of tonight.
No. Another good decision.
Well done, referee again.
Man, he's on fire.
Is he allowed a little fist pump when he gets it right?
Is he out?
Here is James Ward-Prowse. If you've only just joined us and you're wondering why I'd asked that question, it's because Danny and Adrian were very harsh on Declan Rice for celebrating a match-saving tackle yesterday.
Yeah, because the ball was still in play as well. Crack on like that. We were complimenting him very much as well, actually. Let's get it right. We are both big fans. Pope's down, by the way, injured. Yeah. We're both big fans, but on that occasion, I'm not sure what he was doing.
Well, what's happening to Nick Pope here? Because he looks as if he's got a bit of an issue. He's gone down inside the 6-yard box away to our left. The ball's out of play over on the far side. It's gone out for a throw into Newcastle down by the corner flag. Meanwhile, Pope is asking for some attention. There's 18 minutes still to play. Remember, he missed the Carabao Cup final 2 years ago because of suspension, getting sent off against Liverpool.
Now he's going to miss it to injury by the looks of it.
Well, Martin Dubravka just starting to get ready on this near side.
He's done all right though recently.
Yes,
he's a decent keeper, by the way.
I felt a little bit sorry for him actually, that when he came back, Pope, Dubravka was taken out probably a little bit too early. And I think Pope then made a couple of mistakes, and he played well against Brighton actually as well, Dubravka. I did actually wonder whether or not he might keep his place tonight. But Pope getting some treatment. His right leg.
I always think when goalkeepers, well, not always, but some goalkeepers, you think when they go down, they must be really struggling. He's one of them because he's a tough lad, Pope. He's not a drama queen, you know. He's not one of those who goes down for tactical reasons or because he's. What are you looking at?
I'm not just looking at you. I'm allowed to look at you when you're talking to me.
I thought I felt like I had something sticking out my head or something.
There's nothing sticking out of your head, mate. There hasn't been anything sticking out of it for a long time.
No, that's true. Good to see him up.
Yeah, he is up, and just see what there's any indication as to what happened. He just sort of stumbled forward, didn't he, and sort of fell on the ball there. Don't know whether did he collide with Jared Bowen? Oh no, collide with Bruno? I don't know.
On a separate note, I've just got to tell you.
Right. Yeah. Tactical timeout, says Adrian Durham.
He's not that
Danny
type, is he?
He's not like that. He's not that type of player.
Maybe he's changed. Maybe the game's changed.
Newcastle were a little bit famous for, or infamous for doing that a few years ago, weren't they?
But why? They weren't under immense pressure.
No, I think that one might have been genuine.
And the keeper's gone out to warm up properly, so, you know, he wouldn't do that, would he?
Yeah, maybe it's Adrian being cynical.
No, he might be right.
In his own age.
I bet Dubravka's absolutely devastated that he got up.
Yeah, 15 minutes to go. 15 minutes for Newcastle to go level on points with Manchester City. And they will like that. They will like that a lot, especially bearing in mind that over the next few weeks, after the Carabao Cup final, they've got Brentford at home, Leicester away, Manchester United at home, Palace at home, Aston Villa away.
That's a good run of games, you know.
All fixtures where they can establish themselves in the top echelons of the Premier League, possibly, maybe. You never know. Nothing is taken for granted in the Premier League. Here is Soler, playing it round the corner for Bowen, looking for an equaliser. Shoots from a very long way out, hits the back of Byrne. It ricochets for Isaac, who takes it down and runs out towards the far side.
Here he goes.
He's got 6 players alongside him in claret and blue and no one backing him up. He ends up taking it right over to the far side, takes down Jared Bowen.
Great defending from Bowen. What an attitude he's got.
And they get the ball back, West Ham United. He's got a great attitude. He's terrific. And just wonder whether or not he's going to be in the England squad come next Friday.
I'd be amazed if he wasn't, with Saka missing.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people that want to get into that squad nowadays, and Thomas Tuchel's got to whittle it down to 25. Ball deep towards the far post. Skulls is coming in at that far post, but it was a real stretch for him. Never able to get it back across the face of goal, and out it goes, and away for a goal kick away to our left. So 15 minutes to go. West Ham United trailing by a goal to nil, and after winning back-to-back games, All of a sudden, there's a little bit of frustration in the air. They're frustrated with Nick Pope as well, once again, who's taking a bit of time.
I'm really surprised. And that also the fact that Aid could be right. But yeah, I'm really surprised that he's okay. I thought he'd really damaged himself there.
He's kicked it long up towards the halfway line, where Kilman has beaten Trippier in the air. The ball's gone straight out of play. There's no urgency from Newcastle now to get the game restarted. They want to take the sting out of the encounter, try and get to the 90-minute mark without any real problems. Callum Wilson is about to come on. I think Isaac will be done.
Yeah, sensible.
Don't want to risk anything at this stage.
Great ball.
Lovely ball out from Murphy towards the far side. Well watched by Wan-Bissaka, but he's headed it straight to Livramento. Numbers over here for Newcastle United, who are getting players forward into the box now. Barnes travels infield, plays it to Murphy again. Murphy, there's a good ball to him, takes it towards the wide right position. He's being chased by claret and blue shirts. Bruno Guimaraes bursts into the right channel, a little back heel. Not entirely sure he was trying to do there. Maybe he was trying to get a deflection off Kilman and win a corner, but it goes straight out of play and away for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. So it's West Ham 0, Newcastle United 1, and Callum Wilson and Joe Willock about to come on for Newcastle United. I think they're going to have to improve their squad in the summer. I think Wilson's probably going to leave in the summer, go on to pastures new. I think they're going to have to somehow try and find a way if they want to remain competitive, especially if they've got more games that they have to play next season in Europe. Newcastle.
Yeah, that'll be a determining factor. So many managers, isn't it? How much depth you need if you are going to go on a European campaign, of course.
And they made the third fewest changes to the starting 11, which showed you how Eddie Howe has relied on such a tight-knit group this campaign. But the three absences rocked them this week. I mean, they were big absences because they've only really got one out-and-out left full-back, and Lewis Hall not available now for the rest of the season. And it's going to happen more and more often if you're playing more games, and they will be doing that next season almost inevitably now. 78 minutes on the clock, up towards Bruno Guimaraes. Evan Ferguson trying to win it from the wrong side, gives away the free kick. Bruno Guimaraes goes down looking as if he might need some serious attention, although I'm sure he's just fallen over. And on comes Wilson and Willock. Barnes coming off and Isaac coming off, protecting the two assets ahead of the Carabao Cup final.
Well, you say that. Do you know what? I think Barnes has been terrific, and maybe because he hasn't started so much, they're thinking of bringing him off. You might be right, but the other thinking is I'm going to get Willock on there just so he gets a bit of game time in his legs ready for the final. Just don't know with Eddie Howe. He's got to be pleased with Barnes, though. He was a real threat. Looks fit, looks sharp. Didn't look like he was rusty in any way. Isak obviously is a more predictable substitution. He's the one you do want firing on Sunday.
Graham Jones just putting his arm around the back of Isak and encouraging him, slapping his hand as he comes over towards the near touchline. Currently West Ham 0, Newcastle 1. The latest odds are available from Ladbrokes, where right now you can back West Ham to win at 20-1. The draw is 9-2 on, and you can back the draw at 19-5. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes, 18+, begambleaware.org. Ball out of play on the near side. It's with Newcastle United, who have the throw-in down their right as they look at it. West Ham United need to try and find a way to get back in the game. Newcastle trying to manage the game out. Murphy round the corner, lovely little turn, ball back in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Soler is there to tidy up because that was coming through to Willock, and it's cleared away. That was a lovely little graceful turn by Jacob Murphy.
Was nice take, wasn't it?
I saw his brother yesterday playing for Portsmouth against Leeds, and he was in great form as well. He's had a good season, Jacob Murphy. He's on the ball now.
Oh, good feet.
Kudus trying to get away from Tonali. Didn't like the fact that Kudus had shown good feet, and as a result wrestled him, gave away a free kick, and it's back with West Ham United again. Mavropanos moves forward, cups inside, being watched by Willock. Willock pinches it, turns it over, gives it to Wilson. Wilson needs support, played it short, and then it's going to break for Willock, and then Wilson comes across and wins it back and forces a throw-in over on the far side, and after messing up the initial play, he's actually done well to win it back.
I've been impressed with Tonali as well tonight. covered so much ground. Looks so sharp and fit.
Well, you need to be so fit to be in this team. He demands it, Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
And he really is, isn't he? I mean, he's up there with probably the biggest runners out the lot.
Good sharp feet, though, as well. Nice in possession, calm.
Now, he's really thrived since being moved a little bit deeper in this formation. Here is Kudus getting through the middle. Tonali trying to recover. Trippier's gone narrow. The ball's worked wide towards Scarles. Scarles held up by the Italian. Goes infield. Paquetá with the cross. It's too deep for Bowen. It'll go over the other side, and Wan-Bissaka will try his best to keep it in. And he fires it into the box, takes a little deflection, a little back heel by Soler, doesn't come off, and now a chance to break for Newcastle United. It's 2-on-2 here, and Willock is coming up over on the left-hand side. He should have played it in front of him. He went too close to his feet. He goes to the edge of the penalty area. Willock cuts in field, needs some more support provided by Bruno Guimaraes. Now Murphy right side. 9 minutes to go. Murphy goes on the outside. He's got the beating of Scarles for pace in towards the near post. It's cleared away by Kilman. Back out to Murphy again, looking to test Scarles. Goes on the outside, keeps it in. Does he? No. It just goes over the line. In which case it goes out for a corner. If it goes over the line, it's got to be a corner kick. He's given a goal kick, and now he's realised and changed his mind. It's definitely a corner.
Yeah,
it had to be.
I was going to say, yeah.
And Michael Salisbury telling Alphonse Areola that, well, the Areola set telling him that the assistant on the near side said goal kick. He did, but
he got it
definitely
wrong.
A corner.
Not a good decision. It's getting silly now.
Corner it is on this near touchline. Took a little flick off Scarles. It'll be a corner for Trippier to take. He'll bend it in towards.
You see, I've just got to interrupt you, Sam. Now, see, if you look at the setup here.
Ball delivered into the box, which is headed by Byrne. Back across the face of goal by Cher. It's kept in by Trippier on this near side. A little bit slow, West Ham, into towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's away by Kilman. The pressure's on from Newcastle here. Back into the box goes towards Byrne. Byrne heads it down. No one there to pick up the pieces. It's collapsed into the arms of...
I can't believe we are 82 minutes
Areola.
in. Newcastle have a corner. West Ham are at home losing 1-0, and they've got everybody back. Everybody back. Defending a corner with 8 minutes to go and you're 1-0 down.
Yellow
Why,
card.
when you've got Jared Bowen, Kudus, leave them up. Take a risk. My God. I don't know what's just.
A little bit of frustration, not only from you, I think. I think there's a bit of frustration from the West Ham supporters as well about the fact that they haven't really tested Nick Pope enough since they've gone behind.
They haven't. They started the second half well with better intent, but they've not been able to maintain it. And of course the goal has knocked the stuffing out of them a little bit. But things like that are basic. You know, you're defending a corner. I mean, you might as well lose 2-0 than 1-0. Leave two forwards up. Leave Ferguson and Bowen up, whatever it is.
Well, Ferguson hasn't had a kick yet. Is Kudus coming towards the edge of the area? Good header away by Pope, who came right out of his penalty box to get it clear. Murphy jinks him well. Feeds it into Joel Linton. Good reverse back out to Livramento, and halfway line the ball is taken down the touchline. Into Joel Linton again. Further on to the left.
There
a chance to go forward by Livramento is thwarted by, again, the long-limbed Wan-Bissaka, who stretches out his right leg and pokes it out for a throw-in. Good header by Pope.
Yeah, it was. If I was playing on the left against Wan-Bissaka, I'd never run him down the outside, ever. Just no point.
You go on the inside every time.
Just keep popping. Just keep trying to outthink him. Get little positions in the 10 rock.
Livramento out to Willock. Willock, low ball through the 6-yard box. No one there to finish it off. And that was a great chance for Newcastle United as Willock went forward down the left-hand side, was fed by Livramento. A low cross through the 6-yard box. There wasn't a single white shirt attacking it. There's a bit of sense of frustration there that they didn't finish that off. Dan Byrne was a little bit upset, I think.
He's done well as well, Dan Byrne, I have to say. Terrific evening for him.
Well, it means a lot for him to be part of this team. It'll be even more emotional for him than most others if they did manage to lift the trophy on Sunday. Danny Ings has come on, and off has come James Ward-Prowse. Ings has joined the attack. to supplement Ferguson, who hasn't had a kick yet of the ball since he came on.
He has.
They haven't hardly got him into the game.
No, that's better, yeah.
What are you, literal Larry or something?
Well, no, I just think if he's got friends and relatives listening, you say he hasn't had a kick, it's a bit harsh. He has had a kick.
How many touches he had, Deck? You can find that out.
2 or 3.
Here is. Are you being pedantic tonight? You're trying to get used to.
No, I just don't like negativity. You know I'm a positive person.
Oh, crikey! Eh? The one who's been sucking the joy out of everybody all night.
Glass half full Murphy, they call me.
4 minutes to go before the end. Oh dear.
Oh God.
Crikey. Ball cleared away by Murphy up over the halfway line. Yeah, remind me if I ever need a pickup. Dial your number.
Oh God.
4 minutes to go. Well, West Ham certainly need a pickup. Haven't had one so far. And Soler takes it on, runs down the side of the centre circle, up over the halfway line. And it's played out towards the left. It's on towards Kudus. Kudus trying to get round the back, and it's eventually cleared away by Murphy. There was a push in the back by Soler. That's going to be a free kick on the edge of the area. And Newcastle United have managed the situation, I think, quite well since going in front. West Ham have got Everton away next, Wolverhampton Wanderers away next, Bournemouth at home, Liverpool away, and then Southampton at home and Brighton away. Don't think it's going to be a brilliant end to the season for them. It never was going to be, really.
No.
But there's still loads of work to do for Graham Potter. I think he's probably been boosted by the fact that Pakatari's back for now. We don't know what's going to happen with that case. Sofao is back in training, so that's going to help too. But there's a lot of thinking to do about what shape this team takes going forward next season. This is a period really where he's got to try and build a relationship with the supporters, because this has been a toxic place to be for a lot of the last 2 or 3 years, really, despite the Conference Trophy win.
Yeah, I think he's got to work out his best formation and trying to get the best out of his best players, which is Kudus and Bowen. How does that work? Whether tonight, like they caused a few problems early on centrally, but while they're both better suited, more coming off wider areas, supporting a striker, I would think so.
Wilson down the right, thrashes the ball against the back of Soler. It goes out of play. There's a problem here for Scarles. I think he's got a bit of cramp.
Yeah.
It's being helped out by the Newcastle players, Murphy. And the ball is going to be with Newcastle when they go forward. Longstaff has come on to replace Guimaraes. She's another one who's going to be rested up for the weekend. The next Newcastle game is live on TalkSport. The Carabao Cup final comes live from Wembley this Sunday afternoon. Looking forward to that. We'll be live with us, Darren Bent, Adrian Durham, myself and Lee Clark will be at the Wembley Stadium. First big showpiece event of the year. We've got commentaries for you Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night.
Makes a change,
Saturday.
actually. You don't have to watch Chelsea lose there for once.
Yeah. I got a bit bored of that, to be honest with you. It was happening quite a lot.
I know, I was at all of them.
Yeah, so was I. I've only stopped crying a couple of weeks ago. Actually, I went to Chelsea Copenhagen on Thursday night. Crikey. That first half took some watching. Ball out of play over on the far side. Free kick is for West Ham on the far touchline. Maybe there's a chance here.
There is a chance.
With 40 seconds to go.
I'd want Jared Bowen in there, though.
Well, he's gone over to take the set piece, which is a wide ball over on the far side, level with the edge of the penalty area.
I'd be letting Ward-Prowse. Is he? No, he's
off.
He's gone off. Sorry, yeah.
He's sitting on the bench, I'm afraid. Bowen left-footed in towards the near post. It's headed into the air by Wilson, I think it was, who scooped that behind.
I think it was Joe Linton.
Who
Brilliant
got there
header.
first and sent it behind and away for a corner kick away to our left-hand side. And a bit of organisation required here for Newcastle. Look to try and see out the match. We're going to hit the 90-minute mark before this corner comes in. There's going to be 6 added minutes at the end of the game, which seems a bit generous. The ball is deep towards the far post. Pope has come out and he's haymakered the ball out towards the far side with a really clean and direct punch.
Love that from the goalkeeper.
Won by Livramento.
Give it away.
Give it away too cheaply as he tried to find Tonali. West Ham trying to up the ante and put their foot to the accelerator in the last few moments of the game. Kudus goes down the right-hand side, outpaces the defender, produced a cross into the box. It's over the head of Pope. And Trippier does well, actually, to send it outside the box into the right full-back position and then get it clear. But he gets it clear straight to Paquetá, who loops it straight back into the box. He's headed away by Newcastle, picked up on the edge of the box by Joel Linton and sent wide towards the left. And Willock's picked it up now. He's run it forward. Wilson's held it up. It's given back to Longstaff. It's a poor pass by him. And it's given to Scarles, who starts moving forward. Played infield to Ferguson. His shot is blocked. It's run loose in midfield, and now Murphy's got the chance to escape. He's got Willock to his left and Wilson behind him. He's held on to it well and then given it away. And Ferguson has come back to win it back and then fired a ball into the box, which no one in claret and blue is going to win, and then Kudus has tried to control it. It's all a bit desperate and chaotic. It's bounced off his chest and gone behind and out for a goal kick away to our left.
They got lucky there, Newcastle, because when Murphy had the ball in possession and he couldn't quite feed it through to Willock, when you're late in a game, you've just got to play percentages and scoop it over. It doesn't matter if he doesn't get it. You just turn them. Everybody can have a breather.
Well, this is certainly going to keep Newcastle's European Champions League hopes alive. It's a timely result with Manchester City dropping points at the weekend. It's also the perfect warm-up for the Carabao Cup final later in the week, especially with all the bad news surrounding Newcastle last week.
Well, I mean, you've got the performance of Harvey Barnes, which Newcastle fans will be really thrilled with. Isak's got through, what did he do, 80, 75?
75 minutes, yeah.
Again, really good. You got good competition for places in the midfield.
No new injuries, which is the most important thing, I think, at this stage. Oh, well won by Longstaff in the middle of the park. Wilson, just a poor ball into Joe Willock. Just a little bit ring rusty, I think, still, Wilson.
No, that's not a difficult pass. Just take care.
If he's got any relatives listening...
Love it.
It's Ings out towards the right-hand side, feeding the ball into Bowen. Bowen towards the edge of the penalty area. It's taken on by Joel Linton out towards the wide left. And he then robs him, doesn't he, brilliantly. He's so physical, so powerful, Joel Linton. And such an essential part of what Newcastle United do.
Wouldn't want to play against him.
No. Lovely ball infield by Longstaff to Wilson, then back again, and then Tonali just trying to force it forward.
I'm surprised. He's so experienced. That's such a waste. He could have just kept running, roll it safe into the corner. He made a good run there, Will. He didn't need to be put in.
Kilman into Paquetá. Paquetá square to Scarles. Scarles with a cross into the box. It hits Ferguson, comes back to Kudus, blocked by Trippier. Rebounds towards the edge of the D. Kudus has picked it up now. There was a handball there by him, and that will be cleared away. 94 minutes on the clock. TalkSport on this Monday night in Stratford. Waiting for the full-time whistle. The Newcastle fans just looking at their watches. Bruno Guimaraes under a towel on the touchline. He's not looking. He's got his head in a sort of, I think it's a hoodie that he's got his head in.
Towel.
He's not looking, is he?
I think it's a towel, but yeah, you might be right. It might be a hoodie.
I just wouldn't imagine their towels that colour.
Yeah, you're probably right, actually.
Newcastle.
Not that it matters. We're on the radio.
Well, you know, we're trying to paint a picture of what we're looking at here. And Bruno Guimaraes looking a little bit nervous, heading a hoodie or whatever it is, covering his eyes, not wanting to watch the last few minutes. 2 minutes still to play of added time. Burn away into the floodlights. The ball drops from a great height down into the West Ham half. Kilman uses his body to edge off Wilson. It goes back to Mavropanos and they bring it clear. And they've been cursing their bad luck, Newcastle, over the last week, but they've remained focused enough to get the result.
It's got to go.
Ball sends it up high from Mavropanos out towards his near side. A poor ball goes straight out of play. Danny was saying it's got to go because he was waiting for the delivery upfield, bearing in mind the clock says 94:55.
Well, also you've got
a goal.
You've got Ferguson up there. You've got Bowen around him with Paquetá, and Danny Ings is now on. Why are you passing it round the back? Put a nice diagonal up to Ferguson and get the bits off it.
Well, Eddie Howe talked about fighting back stronger and coming up with answers to get something done, despite the fact that they were missing players today, and they've done that. I think they deserved their victory, really, Danny.
They've been good, been efficient.
The better chances, I think, in the game. And especially in that first half, there's a foul there by Longstaff. It's given away 10 yards inside opposition territory, and that means that West Ham can create one last chance in the last few seconds. There's 25 seconds.
Keepers up.
Added time to play. Up comes the goalkeeper to cause a little bit of chaos. Newcastle have got to hold their line here. They set it about 4 yards outside the box. Paquetá to float it. Pope's going to come and punch. He didn't get a clean one on it this time. It's fallen on the edge of the area, but it's taken forward.
What a poor ball that is.
Picked up by Murphy. And instead of trying to just hit it long and into the opposition half where there was no goalkeeper in the goal at the other end, he went to precision, couldn't find Willock. Doesn't matter anyway, because despite the absence of Anthony Gordon and Lewis Hall, Newcastle United have found a way to win and take down West Ham United at the London Stadium. It is the perfect warm-up to the big Sunday Carabao Cup final clash live on TalkSport, and it takes Newcastle United level on points with Manchester City and within sight of the Champions League places. For West Ham, it was always going to be a stretch, going from stuttering and stumbling to 3 straight wins, but after many moves in the right direction, this in the end was a step too far. Newcastle just about shaded it. They had the only goal of the game thanks to Bruno Guimaraes' finish from a brilliant Harvey Barnes flick over the top of the West Ham defence. He was probably the best player of the match, Harvey Barnes. He created the only goal of it, and West Ham are beaten by 1-0.
Sam, thanks very much. There were loads of empty seats long before the final whistle, actually, and it's tricky to get away from this stadium, I know, but I think that reflected what a poor performance it was from the home side. O'Hara and Cundy are coming up with a sports bar. You'll get reaction from Eddie Howe and Graham Potter in that show. Sam's off to interview both of those and any players he can find as well. Newcastle with the win then, Danny Murphy, and assuming no injuries from the game, that's perfect preparation for the Cup final Sunday.
Well, it's a really positive performance and result, more importantly, because it gives them real impetus and momentum going into the final, but it also gives them a huge target now for after the final, which is to get in that Champions League. Losing here would have really been a difficult one for them to bounce back from their recent bad results on the road at City and Liverpool. So yeah, huge night for them, and players don't look fatigued, they look sharp. Thought the subs did well. Barnes come in, did well. I know they've got some injuries, but still got a lot of quality out there, and they'll give Liverpool a game on Sunday, that's for sure.
Well, you think about a man of the match, but a word on West Ham. It was a bit of a mess from Graham Potter, wasn't it, tonight? Do you think he's possibly lost a teeny little bit of love from some West Ham fans because they probably couldn't work out what was going on, really?
I think he's got a bit of time. The home performances are letting him down at the moment. Some of their away performances have been good. I understand why he tried what he tried. We talked about it before. Trying to isolate the two Newcastle centre-halves and get Bowen and Kudus up against them, no problem with that. But half hour in, they were too passive and too deep, and Newcastle had worked it out, and they were dictating. Now, they did come out second half. I thought it was then time for a change of system. He tried to change it by moving them up the pitch a bit and getting to be a bit more aggressive, but ultimately still weren't threatening the goal. So I think he could have changed things earlier and been more proactive earlier. And ultimately, there's going to be some supporters, you're right, who think he should have started the game more on the front foot, because you're playing a side who struggled on the road recently.
You're left with that conundrum, aren't you? They've got so many creative attacking players, and yet they couldn't really get any fluency or any time on the ball, really, and that's the manager's job to make that happen, to use those players.
The problem he's got, he goes away on the road, and he's played this way and had a couple of good results, and he's had a home win, of course, as well recently. But generally, that is a defensive formation, and it's a counter-attack formation. And you're at home, and these fans want more. They've seen this for too long. Now, if he tries a 4-3-3 and goes on the front foot for half an hour and really goes after Newcastle, and Newcastle play out the skin and go bop, 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 and the 2-0 up is, he can at least then say after, well, You know, we're at home. Team's been struggling. I thought, let's go after them. Use the front players, press high. Let's go. And they played brilliantly. Played through us, and then we had to, to start that way. Here, it's not what I'd do.
And lose.
And you lose,
can't get away with it. Yeah.